let's hop into today's show and talking about locksmithing software, okay? And I want to kind of back up and let's kind of walk through this together a little bit. So my personal preference when it comes to software is, of course, probably like many of you, we pay for a lot of software. It's not that big of a deal. But sometimes software is very, very expensive. Right. And like they'll say it's inexpensive and it's like 100 or 200, 300, 400, 500 or $1,000 a month and they call it cheap. And I don't know. I don't really think so. And I think like the way I try to look at it is there a free option that works? If there isn't, then let's kind of go up the scale until you can find something that works. But the other thing with software is it seems like configuration and the ability to use it is also a problem. If it's not flexible enough and it's like, man, I don't really want to change how I do everything. So using the software doesn't work very well. Other times it's like, I can't get anyone to use it because it's difficult or clunky. All of those things I think are like super important and really not talked about enough. Like how easy is it to implement? Can you implement it in an hour? A day, a month, a year, that sort of thing? How easy is it to learn? All of those things are super important. And so essentially what happened here when our friend Jimmy J and Ryan Nunley were up here with us in the building, I remember we were sitting at a counter just right down the stairs here. And I was like, I think they might get a kick out of a software that we use for another business, a full operating system that we use. So I pulled it up and then started kind of going through it all. And I could tell both of them were pretty interested. I mean, Jimmy J, I remember, was like, kind of got really into it. And I'll let Jimmy speak for himself with it. And I was like, Jimmy, do you think this is something I should talk about on the show sometime? And he thought it might be a good idea. So here I am, right? And the software that I'm talking about is Trello, all right? Now we've used, just a little background for me, we've used Trello in another business I have for probably 10 years. About 10 years, we on average have 65 to 85 jobs going on in different phases in it. We've had up to 150, 170 jobs in it at once, I think is peak for us. But there's a lot of like, it's easy to set up, and which I'm going to be doing a live demo here and I want to walk through it with y'all. It's easy to set up. It's easy for people to use. And I really am hoping that, there's so many times like in the perfect world, we could use one piece of software, right? And maybe that's QuickBooks. And for that business, we also use QuickBooks. Now, typically, it's just not going to work. All the scheduling, all the other stuff, and it's tough, right? And so to really get like an all-in-one system, like what we use for CLKsupplies, is like a ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning software. They're big, they're clunky, like we have to have a developer. They work well, right? When implemented properly, they work really well. But a lot of times, like A, you don't want to go to the expense. B, you don't want to have to pay a developer weekly to do stuff, all of that. So getting back to kind of the basics where it's like, if you're using QuickBooks or like Xero or something to run your accounting, what's something else that you can use? So like for us in this other business, we use QuickBooks and then we use Trello. So QuickBooks for our quoting and our invoicing, and then Trello for about everything else. All right. And by doing that, it's really allowed us for free. So like we're on the Trello free plan, doesn't cost us any money. And it's really amazing. And we use it all day, every day, 5 days a week, and it's great. And so I want to demo it. I want to talk through it. And by the way, I really want you to give me some examples of it. All right. So give me some examples and let's kind of work through it. Let's do a little workshop here together, walking through and seeing how it works. Right. And I see a bunch of stuff going on here with talking about inventory and all that. And inventory is hard. right? I mean, we have, I think, 10 or 12,000 SKUs in our system in CLK, and it's hard, right? And inventory in general is difficult. How we in this other business, which is the screen printing and embroidery, we use a monthly supply list is how we handle that. And so like all the base stuff, we have our quantities that we have to have a minimum of, and then we order up to those, right? So it's kind of manual, but it works well, and you don't have to get overcomplicated. I think one of the biggest things that I think that we always want to try to do is keep stuff as simple as possible, right? Because when complication happens, typically time and also confusion. And you start having to do something that takes a lot of time, people in general are going to opt out of it. Or if they're confused and they're not really sure what to do, they're going to opt to do nothing. And so going through those two things, like trying to avoid those and keep it simplistic, is always best. I mean, I personally marvel. All right. And I get where a lot of you are coming from, by the way. And like a system that I tend to marvel at is like Home Depot's system. Now, they're a huge, obviously a humongous company. When I looked it up, last I looked it up, like each store does like 68 million, and they have how many in your area? It's pretty wild. But when I look at their inventory system and how they do things and the options, it's amazing, right? And I would love to have that myself. And so I get where you're coming from, but I think a lot of times is go for something better, right? But something that's going to work for now and then build upon that. So, all right, well, hey, let's hop into it and let's demo it live. Okay, I built a little system here for us. And then let's talk about things. All right, let's talk about it. And let's see if maybe we all can learn something today. Now, this is the deal. There are obviously good service systems out there that you can use. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that if you need to start somewhere, this is good. Or if you find that it's like, man, it's too, like, I do a trial, I try to get it set up in the 30 days. I end up not getting it set up. I cancel the trial because I haven't had time to work on it. So I'm gonna try to, work on it a little bit, get it set up, or I'll start paying. I've paid for 3 months. I haven't really used it yet. I've been there on all those things, right? And so a lot of times is what really needs to happen is, how can I just start using something now? And this is where Trello, I think, comes in. So, and by the way, I'm not going to give you any referral links, not making money on this. All right. Like, I'm not going to do that. And plus, I'm recommending to use the free version. This just comes out of a conversation that Jimmy J and Ryan and I had, and here we are. All right. So let's have some fun. So let me bring this up here. All right. So this is the Trello board I built here. I just named it Locksmith Shop. And I just kind of want to walk through this a little bit. All right. And this is like a Kanban board style. This is the screen that we typically use. And we're going to walk through some jobs, and then here in a minute, I'll switch over. I can't see your comments on the screen I'm on, but I'll switch back over. And if you want me to set up a scenario or talk through it, let's do it. But let's talk about how I have it set up. This is very similar to how we actually have it set up that we use on a day-to-day basis. All right. Which is, we have a need to do on to the left, right? So this is maybe a new inquiry, something that we need to mess with or do. We put it over here. Next up, when we get an estimate done and we sent it, we'll put it in this next column here. From there, if we need to order parts, we'll move it over here to make sure we order it in. In our case, how we use it is for shirts, right? If we need to order shirts, we're going to put it in there. Once the parts arrive, we'll move this case. So let's just move it over, right? So let's say we sent an estimate. From there, we need to order parts. We'll put it there. We're just sliding it with my mouse here. Next, we need the parts arrive. We need to schedule. We'll put it in here. When it's done, we'll put it here. And then for us, when we need to invoice or archive it, we'll put it there. All right. So we'll just kind of move it along as we go here. Now, let me open this up and let's kind of look at it. And you can see on the right-hand side, you can see what we always kind of call the chatter. On the right-hand side, you can see who did what or what time, that sort of thing. You can edit. And let's kind of go over the basis. First and foremost, Okay, so I just made some up here. So there's an interstate estimate for some deadbolts, and we put the address in here. It's at 123 Main Street, and the customer provided 2 images of the doors that need deadbolts installed. And then the hardware is US 15, right? And so what you can go down here, we can look at the images. Now, these are just Google images. They're fake, right? But here's one of the doors, and here's the other door. And that way, essentially, is what you can do is have customers email you or text you photos you can upload in so you can see kind of what you're working with here. And then that way, if you need hardware for it, or if there's going to be something weird, right? Like I'm looking at this being like, okay, listen, we can install a deadbolt up here, right? Oh, it has glass in it. Well, is there enough room for a deadbolt? Yes, we can see here that there is room for a deadbolt. Okay. Now we have labels. Okay. And there's labels that we can put in here. So like we could do, I set up 2 here, like researching, right? So-and-so might be researching, figuring out what we need to do. Maybe it's a job that any tech can do, or maybe like let's create a new one. Let's like, you know what? We need to create a new one. All you have to do is create a new label. Let's click create a new label, and let's put in, let's do, how about only Pete can do this job, right? So we'll put in here only Pete. We'll put it in there. Boom. We just made a new level, new one. So we can get rid of any tech, and we can put on here only Pete can do this one, or researching. Okay, we're done researching. We can get rid of that, right? Whatever that might be. And we can put it in there. So now we have a description. We can put that in. We can easily edit it. Put in here, put in their KW1 keyway so we know what's going on there. And then we can create quote checklists or any sort of checklist, and we'll make some, okay? And I'll hop over and look at what we got, feedback or questions you guys have. We'll set it up. So let's say, so a lot of times, right, when you are training someone new, or maybe they don't have as much skill as you, they're new, they're learning, being able to create checklists to help them get the job done is like super important. And I'm the type of guy that like, I want a checklist for any sort of work that's going to be performed for the customer, right? And so like I made this quote checklist here. Make sure you include a trip charge. Okay, we got that done. Is the hardware in stock, or does it need to be ordered? Okay, this one needs to be ordered here. And then I made sure that there's all the service labor is included as well. Maybe we need to add an item. Let's put in our keys added to the quote. Right? We can add that in there. Okay. We can add another checklist on the fly here. So put that in there. All right. So that way we can go through and we can make sure that we did the right job. Okay. So let's save that. Also, we can put a note on here. Customer said they can't do Friday, Sunday. They also put in there that their gate code is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We can put all that kind of stuff in there, right? It's going to put a list in who did it. So let's say you have a couple people helping you, or you have more than one person in your shop. You can easily see who put the note in. And if you have a question about that, like you try the gate code, it doesn't work, you can be like, hey, let's call PJ. Let's figure out what he has cooking in his oven here. Right? We can add more photos if we want. We can click on attachments. We can add another photo, that sort of thing. All right. Now, is what we like to do here is we got this job. We need to do an estimate up. Let's say we did it in QuickBooks. So what we like to do is we'll put in like QBO 2432 or 2443. Now, and we just email them the estimate. So we did that in QuickBooks, and we're just going to slide this over here to estimate sent. All right, now that we have the estimate sent, we're just going to wait and see if it is. Now, maybe we need to follow up on it, right? And we can put in here, due soon, let's follow up tomorrow, hit save, and then say, let's put in here on the 19th, if the customer did not reply, give them a call. Okay, let's put a little note in there, and then put it in there, wait and see. Now, let's say they do, and they say, hey, let's do the job. All right. You're like, sweet. All right. And then we're like, what do we do next year? Do we need to order parts? What do we need to do here? Well, we can click on it. We can go down to our list and be like, hardware needs to be ordered. Okay. So let's just slide this over to order parts. You order from your favorite parts supplier, CLK. wait for them to come in, you put it in here to get it scheduled. Now, maybe they already had another date in here, which you could put it in for the date. So let's say they want to have it done on the 20th, or let's say the 28th. Put it on here, the 28th, we save it. We got the parts in. Now it's just the jobs to do. All right, so it's just in there in the jobs to do. And I'll get into this here in a minute on the power-ups, but what you can do is click on the calendar, okay? And you can see the jobs. So here's that job that we did here. So the interstate estimate for deadbolts job right here. You can also click back. You can get back over here, right? And so you can easily pull up here who's doing what. You can create other checklists. Let me go through, put that. And then when you get the job done, maybe you need to take a picture. You want to keep a record of some sort. You can upload another photo, all that sort of stuff. You can upload it right in here. Oops. And, whatever it might be. Okay. So you can put all that stuff in there and do that. And then when it's done, needs to archive, that sort of thing, you can do it. Now, the cool part about this is that you're going to be able to, after you archive it, go up to the search box and search for previous jobs. So let's say Interstate called it a month. You guys installed some deadbolts, or last year you installed some deadbolts, and now we need to actually have you come out and rekey them. Well, the cool part is you can click on Interstate, you can get it pulled up, you can look at it, and you're going to know exactly what you're going to need to do, right? Pretty cool on there. And then that way, usually a lot of times we'll copy the card, right? We'll copy the card and we'll edit it and get it all set up. So when the tech gets out there, or even before they go, they have everything that they needed. Let me click on this. Let's just play around. Let me go to this other one here. And let's create a checklist, right? And so you can copy items from another checklist if you want, but here, let's just do lockout checklist, add. All right, let's put item, let's add items on here like check ID, sign, waiver, give business card, whatever it might be. So just like that, we created a checklist. Right? A brand new checklist we created. We can edit it. We can do all sorts of things, whatever we want. Also, when you're doing that, you can assign a role to someone as well. So you can do that if you want. There's all sorts of things. You can put that on certain labels, like you can make create a new label, do lockout. Let's do it red for emergency, right? A lockout on there. Let's put the date is today. Save it. If you ever do, we can click on the link here. Now you can easily see here after time, like, okay, we have a lockout going on right here. We have this job next week, whatever it might be. You can do all that kind of stuff there. So that's kind of the basis of Trello here and how you can use it, and you can just set stuff up on the fly. Now let's say, you know what, PJ, I don't really like this invoice. This needs to be just archive. Okay, we'll just get in there and switch it to archive. Want to add another one, just click right over here. You can add another one. It's not that big of a deal. So it's very flexible as you go right here, right now. And that has been super helpful for us as we've used it for a literal decade. So that's pretty cool. All right, next here, I want to talk about power-ups, okay? So you can click on this little button here, power-ups, and this is where I got the calendar, okay? So you can see the calendar power-up that I did. Let's click Add Power-Ups, and let's go to Made by Trello, right? So here's the calendar power-up that I did. All sorts of stuff. You can connect it to your email. You can collect it to, let's see what other ones they got here. MailChimp. I don't know why GitHub. I don't think you'd need that. Let's go into feature. Let's look at them. Let's see. Google Sheets, email to board, Gmail, right? You get Gmail hooked in there. Google Drive. Yep. So here's a QuickBooks. So you can add it in to QuickBooks if you'd like. I mean, you name it, right? So I think you get the gist of all of the different file management. There you go. Yeah, all the different ones here. Analytics reporting. Let's see here. There is let's go clock. Oh, here we go. Time tracking and reporting. There we go. So you can time on jobs if you want. You click add and oops, hold on. It's going to make me sign in. I don't want to do that on live on the internet. But yeah, so you have people clock in, clock out on jobs, which is pretty awesome. All that sort of thing. So this is Trello, and I think it's a good low-cost option that can kind of be the brains of your operation if you want it to, in conjunction with like QuickBooks or Xero or whatever. We're talking low cost here and high function, right? And I think when you put those two things together, personally, I think it's a pretty good option here. So you can use this on your desktop. You can use the app as well. So like typically people who sit at a desk are using the internet browser. People who are maybe out in the field will just use like a tablet or a phone, either one. That's what my staff does a lot of times. Like they'll have their phone and they'll be taking pictures of what they did, this or that, and uploading it, having a good record. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Let me look here. Let's see here. So I guess she's have to build all those cards, just download on my iPad. Yep. And I think what it is. Yeah. And I would say just use it, right? The add-ons are almost endless, but I think from a locksmith perspective, the tree flow is almost all of us. I agree. So, I mean, we've used it for a decade using, 65 to 85 jobs on average at all times, up to 150, 170-ish peak. That's a lot of jobs on there, right? And typically all within 2 weeks, right? So there's a lot of stuff moving around. We use the free version. You can probably use that as well. For free, the amount of options that you get are pretty awesome. And how I would, for the record, recommend that you use it is you just start. Okay, what job are you doing right now? Or customer calls that you need to type up or do? Just start doing it and then just start getting into a flow. And over a month, you'll be shocked about how quickly you can change and add and modify things. And just get it to start working. Software is called Trello. Trello. I personally do not store data about cuts, codes, or other access related info. Yeah, I mean, just do what obviously you feel comfortable with as far as that goes. But the main part, right, like what I'm hoping I'm getting across here is that it's easy. Yeah, it's easy and you can do it right now. And so a lot of times, like in your head, you can be like, man, let me just spend the weekend setting it up, that sort of thing. Don't do that. Just immediately do it. And a fun fact, all of our YouTube scheduled programming for the past 1,000 videos essentially was all done on Trello, just a separate card, a YouTube one. We have all the things going on scheduled in. This is exactly the flow that we've used. So, but I think for using it for jobs and the flow, you should use it, right? Add the card, right? Make a new one, add it in. There you go. Here we got the card here. Look, so we clicked on the time tracking. Yeah, so it pops out here. Yeah. Go on here. Needs key made for his spaceship. Maybe that's one word. About 15 feet off the ground. Bring ladder. Right? We can put all those in here. Checklist in the air. Ladder. Spacesuit. What else do you need for that? Waiver. Right? And you can keep going. So the point here of just messing around, having fun is making sure that it's easy, right? Label. Let's add a new one. Weird, right? Now anyone who does this job, say any tech, they can be weird. And let's have it for let's put it on next Friday also. And then let's click up on that. We can go down here. So, we can see the two jobs on here, right? We can see that understand one that we worked on, and then we can also see there's a weird job, right? And over time, as you start using it, everyone knows what the colors mean, right? So if someone sees the yellow, you can click on it. You can see that it means weird, whatever that is, or red is lockouts, right? You can slide this down over as well. So we got now all three of these jobs are there. Iowa LockDoc says the spaceship's not going to be there today. We got to move it to the 27th, right? We can just move it around. So it's very, very, very flexible. And that's the point of it, right? And that's to give you something that is easy to use, it's actionable, and it's free. So Locksmith hot dog van. Yeah. Yes, you could keep track of the hot dog eating contest in there. Yeah. Add a hot dog. Let's see here. Yeah. So it's Trello. It's free. Like I said, I have nothing to actually sell you guys here. It's just something that hopefully you can find helpful to use. So something that I would just love some feedback on as you guys start to play with it and use it and see what it's like and its capabilities. Like anything, if you can't with any sort of system like this, it's all or nothing, right? You have to commit to using it or not. It's very easy and customizable, which is pretty awesome. Let's see here. JD, what's up? Says, can you go back a couple of years to look up? Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, you can go back. I mean, we've been using it, JD, for a decade, and we can go back and look at a decade ago and see the jobs there. So it's so helpful to do that. And being able to reference and see photos or checklists on exactly what you did is really, really nice. And you can duplicate the card, change what you need, whatever you might need to do for anything new. So here we Tech Mobile for dispatching, ties into eAutomate. Both are painfully clunky. Yeah, a lot of times they are. Let's see. But yeah, sometimes they do locks in space. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look into it. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I can tell you as someone, we've used it. So in the company that I have that uses it, there's like 7, maybe 8 people that use Trello. Yeah, well, I mean, it's hosted on the cloud. So Bill, great good news is it'll be there when you get it turned back on, right? And even on, as a matter of fact, I want to do something here. So let's say on here that you put on here, and let's put on here that he says, Lee's ladder. Oh, he says it's a Y1 key. Bring your original leashy. Put that on there, obviously. Man, I can't type all of a sudden. Put that on there because they don't, original leashy doesn't make a Y1. Okay, so let's say we did on there and then we're done. We just click off, right? Did I save? I did not. I was in a hurry and I'm not perfect. So I'm not perfect. I was in a hurry. I forgot to hit save. How is someone going to know to bring their original leashy Y1? Well, when it comes time to click on it, and you go here, look, you see unsaved changes right there. You click on it, but bam, it's still there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now I'm going to, okay, let me click save. There we go. There we go. We can click on it, get it on there, right? It's time to bill. Right? I don't want to pay for a bunch of systems, so I can click on here. I can get in. I can find the estimate, 2343, and turn it into an invoice. You can attach it if you want. We typically don't because we just kind of pop back and forth between the systems. But yeah, that's kind of how it works. Let me go back to where I can see the comments again. You can also add notes. Say you have a customer that's abusive or didn't take a job, that kind of thing. Yep. Did you fix that frame yet? Yep. All that kind of stuff. You're right. There. Let's see. Yep, you're right. This will clean up my calendar and photo apps, keep it 100%. And the cool part is now I'm, of course, on my desktop, but you can easily just pull it up on your phone and the app, take photos. I mean, it's super simple. Like you're not going to have to like take a photo and then later go into your photos and then upload it. You'll be able just to open the app, click on it, take the photo, boom, you're done. So that's what's awesome about it. So you're right. It cleans up a lot of stuff and keeps a good log. They're good quality. Let's see here. But man, all right, we've been going 47 minutes here. So I think I've made my point here. That's Trello. I've been using it for a decade in a different company. I mean, of course, in CLK, we sell supplies, right? If you want supplies, you can order, right? So it's not really good for that. We do use it in CLK though, for other stuff like our YouTube system, right? Our whole YouTube systems ran in there. Promotions ran in there a lot of times. So, but when it comes to a locksmith service, just like screen printing and embroidery type stuff, like you can set it up exactly how your flow is. You can customize it on the spot. You can stay organized and it's not going to cost you any money. So I think that's a good win. You don't need to spend this. The deal. Think about this. When you are getting going, you have all this stuff going on. Maybe it's just you. You're trying to get it all figured out. Trello's a great place to start. So give it a try. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. At minimum, though, I hope it really got your wheels spinning on any existing app or software that you're using that you can kind of incorporate or learn to flow with it, right? So a lot of people have asked me, they're like, PJ, you have this ERP, you obviously know how to use it in CLK. Why don't you have it? Why don't you also use it in your other business? That's really simple. I don't need to have something that complicated at this point, or hopefully ever. And so I don't want to just add cost to, or essentially overhead to my business if I don't have to. And two, I want to keep it as simple as I possibly can. Kind of Trello is where it's at. Like every job that we do is tracked and put in there. So you can pull them all up, as Jimmy and Ryan have seen, right? Like, I mean, it's comprehensive. It's really awesome. And I would normally show it to you, but since it's a whole bunch of real customers, I don't want to, without their permission, show a bunch of their info or whatever. So I'm not going to do that, but at least on the internet. But yeah, so those are some of the stuff that you can use, hopefully help your business stay organized, grow, and hopefully make some money at the same time. So today, I tell you what, guys, I've been having fun hanging out with you today. It's been fun talking about Trello, having fun, something we should consider. I'm just going to throw it out there, no promises, but if a bunch of people end up liking and using Trello for their Locksmith business, this is what I think we should do, okay? I think collectively, the Locksmith community, we should make our own Trello board that people can copy and use it. So maybe they don't have to set everything up, but they'll have a bunch of stuff set up to really help them get going if they want. Okay, so that's just something to consider. If a bunch of people end up using it, let's go ahead and I think we could all do something like that, make it cool. We can all contribute to it and make it a public board. People can see it and they can copy it and use it if they want. I don't know. You can set it up yourself, but that's just something we should just consider. Okay, let's just consider it and go from there. But I sincerely appreciate you being here. I sincerely appreciate you supporting CLKsupplies. We're having another record-breaking year again. Thanks to you all. So appreciative of that when you choose to buy your supplies from us. So I really want to say thank you. But anyways, stay safe out there. Keep doing that good lock and key work, making all of us proud. And tell your lock pickers out there, keep doing your thing as well. We'll see you next time, all right? Y'all take care. We'll see you.